It was always my idea on the channel that I would come in, take off my jacket or my white coat, kind of like Mr. Rogers, and then we'd kind of get into the video, but I never do that. This video, we did it. Anyways, in today's video, I'm gonna talk to you about the fellowship that I did not get. Let's get into it. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Zach with Dr. Eyeball MD. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I'm a third-year ophthalmology resident. On the channel, we focus on everything medicine, residency, and soon to be fellowship related. So go ahead, subscribe to the channel down below if you're interested in any of that stuff. In today's video, we're going to talk about a fellowship opportunity that I did not get. And I don't mean this to come off that I'm not grateful for the fellowship that I did get, which is oculoplastics ASOPRS position at my home program here in Dallas, because I'm very thankful for that and very glad that I matched into it. But I just want to tell you about a fellowship that I also applied to that I did not match into, and it's one that you've probably never heard of as a fellowship within ophthalmology as even being a possibility. So I'm going to go over what that fellowship is, tell you why I applied to it, why I probably didn't get it, and then why I'm glad that things worked out the way they did, and then I'm going to be doing plastics next year. So the fellowship that I'm talking about is something called an Ophthalmic Innovation Fellowship. If you follow the channel at all, you know that I like innovating, inventing things like surgical instruments and that kind of stuff to help with new surgical techniques. In that process, I had a friend who told me about a fellowship that his friend was actually matching into at Stanford called the Ophthalmic Innovation Fellowship. And so I researched it, and it's basically a fellowship where after residency or before, you really don't even have to be an ophthalmologist to do it. They take PhDs and stuff, but typically it's ophthalmology residents. They come from really well-known, renowned ophthalmology residency programs, come and do this Ophthalmic Innovation Fellowship, and it's basically focusing on teaching you the process of kind of the industry side of ophthalmology. So like how to get products to market, how to get them through the FDA, kind of that whole process of having an idea and making that idea come to market. That's what this fellowship focuses on. It's a one-year fellowship. They take one fellow a year, and they've had something like 5 fellows ever. It's a fairly new fellowship, but you may have never heard of this. You probably haven't, just because it's very under the radar. I just happened to stumble across it, but I got very interested in it because that's something that I already like doing. And then so I went ahead and applied for it. I told my mentors, who were also helping me apply to ASOPRS, that I was interested in this and that I was applying to this, and so I did apply to it. I kind of got down to, I guess, the finals, if you want to think of it that way, between I think me and one other person that they were considering for this program, and ultimately they ended up picking the other person. And I think the reason is just because my ideas of what I wanted to do at the fellowship weren't fleshed out so well. I had a lot of different kind of things that weren't really too far kind of downstream of where they needed to be. They were more kind of thoughts and ideas and weren't really fleshed out into concrete plans. And a lot of them really revolved around like making surgical instruments and that kind of thing. And I think they wanted something a little different. And I think that's ultimately why I did not get that fellowship. But in the end, I'm glad because I matched ASOPRS here and get to stay and do that. So I'm really glad that that worked out that way. That is the fellowship that I applied for. If you're interested in any of that, innovation type stuff, inventing, and kind of the tech side of ophthalmology, I would definitely look into it. It's called the Ophthalmic Innovation Fellowship. It's at Stanford. They take one fellow a year. You don't have to have graduated residency, but I think your chances are better. And you can even do it like after a fellowship, or you can go back to it, or you can be a PhD, any of that kind of stuff. But it's basically like a advanced research here, but it's not so much research. It's like you have a project that you want to get done, and then they kind of plug you in and help you do that. They kind of connect you with Stanford's engineering department or their chemical engineers or whatever you need. Resources wide at Stanford, they kind of plug you in, and then they can also plug you in with the FDA and teach you how to get things approved through the FDA, and they will teach you kind of the process. And since I didn't match, I'm just figuring out the process myself, and it seems to be working okay. I've already got instruments made through companies, and we'll keep kind of going down that path, and I'll figure out how to, get those to market, whether that be licensing the products to the companies or whatever. So I'm just kind of figuring it out myself, but there's a whole fellowship that will teach you that if you're interested. And so that is the fellowship that I did not get, but was very interested in, probably for the better in the end, that I get to do ASOPRS and still kind of pursue that passion on the side of the kind of inventing, innovation side of ophthalmology. Anyways, that's the fellowship that I didn't get. I'm Zach with Dr. Eyeball MD. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.